Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Click that notification bell to all so you don't miss anything that we're pushing out here on the channel. Russell Westbrook has officially retired. And so, without further ado, before we continue this video, out of respect for the Brody, we will show his career.
Has a curator, and every exhibit, they have a story. But some stories don't need someone to tell them. They just speak for themselves. So tonight, I'm not going to tell you what any of this means. I'm just going to show you. And I'm going to...
The microphones were on, but the room went completely dead the second Kobe Bryant stepped up, while the entire sports world was busy tearing Russell Westbrook to shreds, calling him erratic and reckless. Kobe stopped the media in their tracks and laid out a truth that left the league stunned. He didn't offer polite defense or generic praise. He looked straight into the cameras and declared that Russ was the only player alive who mirrored his own relentless savagery on the floor. The entire NBA had misdiagnosed a pure killer.
He likes to do. But it also makes me think of where he said they had a highlight of you falling down, a highlight reel. And it's going to be very interesting to see how many people say good career to her after they spend a large part of theirs dissing it and treating him badly.
I mean, really. No, not just the trophies. The actual feeling. Some things you don't say. You just play them over and over until everyone else understands too. Because why not?
The league had drifted into an era obsessed with spreadsheet analytics and polite smiles, but Kobe immediately saw through the noise. To the modern basketball executive, Westbrook was an anomaly that did not fit neatly into safe algorithms. Kobe saw something completely different, a warrior who treated every single possession like a matter of life and death. While analysts complained about shot selection and efficiency charts, Kobe realized the league was actively punishing a man for playing with raw, unadulterated hostility.
Hasn't been built yet either. Were you ever afraid of what happens after the game stops needing you? This swing isn't finished. Neither is he. And that's the point. Last question. Now that you decided to step away from everything, on your own terms, what are you the most proud of? That might be the best interview I've ever done. He didn't say a word. And somehow, I understood everything.
It all traced back to a private summer run in Los Angeles before the world knew what Westbrook would become. Russ walked into a gym where Kobe was treating a meaningless scrimmage like the fourth quarter of Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Most young athletes would have backed down, but Westbrook was mesmerized. In that gym, a young kid from South Central LA realized that greatness requires zero apologies, zero hesitation, and zero interest in making friends with the enemy standing across from you.
He was a real superhero in his time, and I know the media badmouthed him, trashed him, treated him horribly. A lot of it specifically had to do with LeBron James. And, you know, all the things that came when he came to the Lakers. And it just seemed like everybody turned their back on it. A lot of people did. And even if we're not going to say it's LeBron per se, that the clutch factor got sucked, they got their dogs on Russ to make up for why the...
Russ took that exact blueprint and ran with it straight into the heart of the association. When Kobe evaluated opponents, he famously despised the friendly backslapping culture taking over the league. But with Westbrook, Kobe openly admitted that he saw a rare reflection of himself. Russ never smiled on the court. He never begged for approval from opposing stars. He attacked the rim with genuine anger, refusing to be cute with the basketball or play the game to win easy popularity contests with the media.
I make friends. I mean, these guys playing hard every time down. And it takes a lot of energy to be able to do that. And he just never seems to run out of it.
A lot of pickup games at UCLA will happen. And this particular day, Kobe came. And now I'm super hyped and super juiced because to me, Kobe, it's the best in the world. But the number one lesson I got in that was that watching him, he was competing like it was the finals. And to me, it was so inspiring because it allowed me to understand Like this is what you need to be like, regardless of where you at, what you doing, however you playing. And I took that attitude and ran with it.
High praise from an excellent athlete in his own right. So
Kobe went on record with an observation that should have silenced every critic. The insane amount of energy required to play at that maximum threshold every night is something most NBA players simply do not possess. Most athletes conserve their stamina, choosing their spots and protecting their bodies. Westbrook treated every single 48-minute game as if it were his last night on Earth. Kobe recognized that kind of psychotic competitive motor because he lived it himself every single day.
but I dare you, Google his highlight package. And I bet you can't find a lot of other guys that had a better one. What Russell Westbrook was capable of at one point in time was just basically a heat-seeking missile with a strap to a stick of dynamite. Just when you thought you caught the missile, he had an extra couple of strips of dynamite on the back that would just go boom. And then he was an explosion. Pause, no diddy. People complain about Russ's shooting.
Before the triple-double records, the MVP trophies, and the global fame, nobody outside of California believed in the kid from Lawndale. Seattle took him 4th overall in 2008, and the basketball establishment scoffed at the selection. They thought he was an out-of-control athlete without a natural position, but nobody accounted for the sheer violence of his transition game. He wasn't just fast, he was a human missile capable of breaking through set defenses on pure, relentless willpower alone.
He was a speeding bullet running down the court that would stop on a dime at the free throw line, shoot a mid-range pull-up that was money every time. You really couldn't stop her. And the finals, when they played against the super team Heat, Harden was the one that really let them down, but Russ didn't have no problems. He was cooking her. Go back and look at that. If you don't believe he was as good as some of us are saying, if you never really watched him in his prime, I challenge you to go back and watch that series. He was great. He was elite. And it's a shame that the
2012 finals against Miami proved exactly what he was made of under the brightest lights. While critics claimed the young Thunder were unprepared for the Heat super team, Westbrook went toe-to-toe with prime legends and cooked them relentlessly. When the pressure broke others, Russ kept attacking the paint with furious precision. He refused to shrink, delivering iconic scoring outbursts that proved he was built for the highest stakes basketball had to offer, even when his team fell short.
The team were given that respect on the way out. But the guys that did it were tossed to fodder. Shaq went out, wasn't good. Allen Iverson went out, wasn't good. Melo went out, wasn't really good. These guys, and in fact, with Melo and Iverson, they're similar to Russ. It just seems like they got kicked out the league and they still had a lot left, in my opinion. I really feel like specifically with AI and Melo, they were getting higher on like scoring lists and stuff like that. So the league just said, let's keep them out of it. Because the league never really liked those two anyway. So it's really how I feel about it.
In his prime, Westbrook was literally unguardable because his physical mechanics defied human physiology. He was a speeding bullet tearing down the floor on a fast break, capable of stopping on a dime at the free throw line to rise up for an automatic mid-range pull-up. Defenders could not sag off him, and they could not press him full court without getting humiliated. It was pure explosive electricity wrapped in a fierce competitor who commanded the entire building's attention. What made his run even more incredible was his absolute refusal to cheat the paying fans. In an era dominated by load management and calculated rest days, Westbrook put together 7 distinct seasons where he played in over 80 regular season games. Night after night, city after city, he gave every ounce of energy he had without making excuses. While other superstars preserved their bodies for contract years, Russ honored the ticket-buying public by leaving his soul on the hard wood. Yet the moment his physical dominance showed natural signs of aging, the narrative swung with terrifying cruelty. The same media that celebrated his ferocity began weaponizing it against him. When minor wrist injuries and wear and tear altered his shooting mechanics, television talking heads treated it like a character flaw rather than the physical toll of giving everything to the game. Suddenly, the most exciting player in basketball history was framed as an uncontrollable liability. The league decided to turn a cultural icon into an internet punchline. They dissected his unique fashion, mocked his silent museum exhibits where he refused to feed the gossip machine, and turned a blind eye to his deep community work in Los Angeles, while creative icons like Michael B. Jordan understood his artistic expression and intentional silence. Casual fans were fed a steady diet of short viral clips that completely disregarded the sheer weight of what he had achieved for the basketball culture. Networks literally compiled highlight reels of his missed shots and awkward falls, ignoring the thousands of times he lifted entire franchises on his back. They built entire television segments around mocking his decline while ignoring the fact that he was still putting up numbers that most starting point guards could only dream of. The disrespect became an industry, proving how quickly the basketball establishment turns on warriors once they can no longer leap out of the arena. The breaking point arrived the moment he put on the purple and gold in Los Angeles. The Lakers were dealing with structural roster flaws, chronic injury issues, and poor roster construction, but the narrative machine desperately needed a single person to take the fall. Westbrook became the easiest target in the room. Every team loss, missed rotation, and broken offensive set was pinned exclusively on him, shielding front office failures while turning the hometown hero into a public scapegoat. The powerful PR machinery surrounding the franchise diverted every ounce of blame in his direction. Fans and television personalities attacked his character and dragged his family into the crossfire, completely ignoring the fact that the team around him lacked basic shooting and perimeter defense. They demanded he change his entire identity overnight, then mocked him when unnatural adjustments made him look uncomfortable on the floor in front of his childhood home crowd. Through all the personal disrespect, Russ maintained an almost impossible silence. He never leaked stories to journalists. He never threw teammates under the bus in post-game press conferences. He simply laced up his sneakers, put his head down, and went to work. When the toxicity escalated to the point where his wife had to step forward and defend their family name from public harassment, Westbrook kept playing hard, proving his internal armor was completely impenetrable. His trajectory exposed a dark, unspoken reality about modern sports culture, how superstars are treated when they leave their original teams. Franchise lifers who stay in one place get romanticized retirement tours and standing ovations, regardless of how their performance declines. But legends who dare to move between cities are instantly treated as expendable fodder. Their previous greatness erased the moment they wear a different jersey that does not fit the media's chosen script. We watched this exact tragedy unfold before with icons like Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. When generational scorers who refuse to bend to corporate molds begin to slow down, the league quietly pushes them toward the exit doors before they can rewrite their final chapters. Westbrook found himself pushed into that exact same category, treated like an outcast simply because his pride, unapologetic individuality, and aggressive playing style could not be sanitized for television. Looking back, leaving Oklahoma City was the turning point that allowed the media machine to dismantle his reputation. Had he stayed in OKC through every rebuilding phase, the narrative of his career would have remained untouchable. Instead, moving across multiple rosters exposed him to systems that were never built to utilize his specific superpowers, giving armchair critics endless ammunition to question a legacy that was already cemented in gold and undisputed history. This is precisely what Kobe Bryant tried to warn the basketball world about years before the fallout occurred. When you punish players for pure aggression and unfiltered desire, you suck the soul out of the game itself. Kobe respected Westbrook because Russ never manufactured a fake image for corporate sponsors. He gave the court his raw blood, sweat, and genuine tears, refusing to apologize to anyone who thought he was playing too hard or taking a regular season matchup too seriously in an era of softness. The physical reality is that Westbrook did not decline because he stopped caring. He slowed down because he gave every single drop of fuel his body had to offer. You cannot run at 200 miles per hour into 7-foot rim protectors for over a decade without paying a massive physical price. Russ sacrificed his joints, his knees, and his shooting touch by sacrificing his physical well-being for the sport, leaving a trail of broken records that will take decades to match. The ultimate irony is what is about to happen now that the final buzzer has sounded on his career. The very same analysts who spent half a decade dragging his name through the dirt will suddenly pivot, producing tear-jerking tribute packages praising his undeniable Hall of Fame credentials. The hypocrisy of sports media will be on full display as former critics rush to claim they always appreciated his unmatched motor and historic triple-double dominance on the hardwood. Westbrook never needed their delayed validation anyway. Behind the scenes, his foundation, his deep mentorship of urban youth, and his investments into the inner-city communities that raised him remain his true crowning achievements. He proved that a quiet kid from South Central could reach the absolute summit of professional basketball completely on his own terms, without selling out his identity, compromising his personal dignity, or begging the mainstream media for their shallow approval. Kobe Bryant saw the ultimate truth from the very beginning, while everyone else was blinded by spreadsheets, box scores, and short-term media narratives. Russell Westbrook was never just an elite point guard. He was a ferocious force of nature who reminded the entire world what genuine athletic passion looks like when nobody is faking it. The record books will forever hold his historic numbers, but history will ultimately remember the profound truth Kobe exposed. Russ never once cheated the game of basketball.